Welcome to Wednesday Night Live from the Basement. Here's your hosts, Rob, Daryl, and Joe.
Good evening, gentlemen. I hope you guys are feeling better than I am. Daryl is wearing a strange apron that has keyboards on it.
Okay,
I'll talk about it after.
He wasn't wearing that 5 seconds ago, right?
Right? That's why I was kind of caught off guard. At first, I thought he looked like an X-Wing pilot from Star Wars, but I'm like, no, that's not it.
It's been a long damn day, but I'm pretty sure I didn't see that on before. Anyway, okay, good.
He pulled the fast one during that fancy high-budget intro we have.
He did. That's
It's
right.
paid for by all of our sponsors. Oh, wait, we don't have any. Never mind.
We don't.
So it was paid for by me, I guess. So
Wardrobe change.
there you go. So Joe, Daryl, welcome. And our special guest, Trevor, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us, Trevor. It's been a hot minute since we had you on here.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It feels like I'm with you guys all the time. But
Yeah.
it's being on camera, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. We got
Yes.
Chris Mann watching all the way from Wales.
Hey.
And, Richard hanging out in the Tap House in Colorado.
Cheers.
So that's wonderful. When we met last, Daryl was sick as a dog.
Yeah.
And now he's better and I'm sick as a dog. So, that's fun. I apologize. I will try not to cough too much today. But if I do, I'm sorry. So, Daryl, the apron, what's the deal? Are you going to cook hamburgers for us or something?
Well, this is part of something I'm going to show today, but this week has been Secret Santa week at my school. And my Secret Santa gift today was an apron that has like music related stuff and board game related stuff on it. So
That's cool.
I thought I'd incorporate it as part of our highlights of 2025.
Yeah, that's awesome. Got the old style microphone on there. You got some keyboards.
It's got even the speaker subwoofer thing at the bottom.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
So
Yeah.
excellent.
I thought it was pretty funny when I got it today.
That's good.
And it's I guess it's funny because I am a cooking teacher, that whoever got it for me just had it custom made. Pretty funny.
Very
You're the
cool.
man, cool guy. They love you there. That's that's good.
Very
Tim joining us from Ottawa. How you doing, my friend? Well,
Hello, Tim.
Oh, Tim, stick around. You're going to be part of this show too tonight, I think.
Uh-oh.
That's good.
What do we have to talk about, guys? What's new and exciting?
Well, we can bitch about the weather like we were doing before, but let's just not, because it is what it is, and it's not going to change regardless of whether we complain about it or we're happy about it or a combination of both, I guess. So,
Yeah.
If Richard was your Secret Santa, Daryl, he would get you ABBA bobbleheads. I think you should get him ABBA records. That's what he needs.
if you weren't
Every one of them. Hey, Mike.
Mike,
Hey, Buffalo. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, Mike.
Mike, are you
Wednesday
are you
night
coming
cheers.
up here to see the family over Christmas? I hope so. If you are, let's get together.
Trevor, how's things?
I'm not in flooded area.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. A lot of that news footage that I don't know if anyone's seen it. That used to be my old delivery area, so
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have that area anymore. But no, thankfully the area that we're in Highlands, so
That's good.
it hasn't been too bad here. But yeah, last week I was actually kind of prolific with videos. I actually did 3, which is like,
Holy crap. In 1 week?
well, actually 2 were in, right after each other because they're like a part 1, part 2.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was just, trying to get in this year-end thing, and it was fun. And then I watch them back and I'm like, man, I talk like an idiot. It sounds like I don't even know what I'm talking about. So
Not at all, man. They're great.
That's the charm. That's the charm of it. At least that's the way that I look at it. When I do my stuff, it's just, it is what it is. And I leave a few of the mistakes in there and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just more personal that way, I think, a little bit. Right. But
right.
So.
And some of those things might show up in this video because
They might.
we're talking 2025 and these are highlights. It's in the record.
Exactly.
Curtis is tuning in from the East Coast. Welcome, my friend. How you doing?
Hello.
God, guys, I'm very sorry. I'm going to try not to cough.
That's all right.
God,
I'd tell you to have some tea, but I know your feelings on tea. So,
like I said, I'd rather drink my own piss.
yeah, yes. I
So
wasn't sure if
instead-
you were going to share that or not, but sure. Yeah.
We'll see if I get a sponsorship out of this. Instead, I'm drinking the best beverage you can drink when you're sick. Everyone's favorite, Canada Dry Ginger Ale.
Perfect.
Burners.
Canada Dry, folks. You know, if you want to.
I got Western Family ginger ale, so at least it's still ginger ale. I got more drinks going than I need. I'm not sure exactly what the deal
I also
is.
have
As long as it's not Verner's. Verner's is awful.
Oh, come on now.
Burners
Now
is
you're-
great. Love
Jeez,
it.
it's like he shot you right in the heart
Oh,
there, I
Oh my
think. eh?
God. That's what I grew up with. Even though the formula now is watered down compared to what it used to be when I grew up. But
It was
yeah,
just it used to be just like sucking on a ginger right out of the ground, was it?
Yeah,
Or-
I think that's why I don't
and
like
think
it.
it was overcarbonated too. Because
Oh, really? Yeah.
you would pour a glass of it and you get close to it and you couldn't breathe because there was
Right.
so much carbon in there.
Yep.
I can't say that I've ever had one of those. So maybe
makes me-
that's an Eastern thing, or I don't know, maybe not. But I don't remember ever having that brand.
I
It's
think
needed out
here that's bottled by Cott in Mississauga, I think.
Yeah,
And I just remember it vividly because I had an English grandmother, and that was the only pop that was ever in her house was Verner's ginger ale.
yeah,
So
that's good. That's good.
Tim is saying you didn't realize this is the last one. Well, it might not be the last one for 2025. We'll probably sneak something in during the holiday break at some point in time, but it won't be a Wednesday thing. It'll be a whatever.
It'll be. Are we all losing our minds? Let's go on and chat with each other for a while, right?
Probably, yeah.
Exactly.
Probably. Record Hound, good evening. Busy here fine tuning my cartridge for a new stylus. We'll be lurking. All right. Feel
What-
free to jump in and tell us, whatever you want to tell us, whenever you want to tell us.
What kind of cartridge? What kind of stylus? That's the question. That's what I need to know or want to know. So there you go. And
There you
you're
go.
feeling like crap, right? as he coughs. Yeah.
So my son is 10. He's in grade 4. And it has swept through his school like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say a plague, but like half the school is out.
Yeah.
I was telling Trevor before we went live that his class of 30 kids, there might have been maybe a dozen there today.
Yeah.
And my wife works at the school too. She's a lunchtime supervisor. And her grade 1 and her kindergarten class, there's maybe like 14 or 15 kids in each class. There's just half the class is out sick. Everyone is just getting it. And this one was weird because it was a cold or a flu. I don't know what the hell the difference is, but it knocked me on my ass. Like on the weekend, I started feeling it Friday night. My son's got it on Wednesday. And so by Friday, I'd been hanging out with him in his room, watching movies or whatever, and knowing full well, I'm like, shit, I'm probably going to get sick. But it didn't matter because, you do those things for your kids. Friday night, I started to feel a tickle in my throat, and then I was coughing, and I'm like, oh, shit. I
Yeah.
woke up Saturday morning feeling like crap. Saturday noon, I went back to bed. And Sunday, I slept like 16 hours. I was hot, but I was freezing at the same time. And it was all the energy I could muster just to get up and take a leak and then go back to bed. And it's like a 10-foot walk to the bathroom. And it was just, I had never been knocked on my ass like that before. It was something. All of that's gone. I just have a cough and a bit of a sinus infection. So hopefully I'm knock on IKEA wood. I'm rounding the bend. Record Hound has an Audio Technica 95E closer to budget.
Saw that. Yeah. So that's good. I'm familiar with Ortofon because that's what we deal with. That's the ones that we sell. We can get the rest, but that just happens to be what we sell for the most part. So yeah. And Red, Chris said that I recommended Red, and that's just a great base start. If you just want to upgrade and make it a little bit better, Red's great. Blue is a step up, obviously. And there's a noticeable difference just from doing it and changing them out and hearing a blue to a red. And then there's bronze and black, and there's all the rest of it as well. So it's I don't know. What have you got? Have you got what came on there? Is that a Fluence? That's a Fluence, right? So I don't know.
Fluence. Yeah, just what it came on. And this is an 81.
Yeah. They're not, the cartridges aren't bad. We were selling Ortofon Reds, $150, which isn't bad. And then I've been putting it on for people as long as they buy. Yeah, that's what I took off today. Actually, was a very older one for someone. So
will Ortofon still work with?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just change the cartridge, keep that same head shell, or you can just buy a head shell and cartridge all in one, and then just pop it on and spin it on. So if you wanted to use that, keep that or whatever as a spare.
Because I know the Ortofon's are different. They take on a different, or is it the head?
You can get an Ortofon that's pre-loaded like that. So really all you do is just push it back on and twist on, and away you go. Or you can use that head shell, pull that cartridge off and pull the wires off carefully because they suck if you break them. and replace it that way. But really with the head shell, it's like an extra $50. So take the whole thing off, set it to the side. You've got a spare, and then just pop a red or a blue or whatever on. So, or whatever you want to go with. I mean, you can, as Tim's talking about, you can go crazy, but your ears have to be worth it. I know mine aren't, right? So your ears have to be worth it. Yeah. And it really makes a difference, but again, it's justifiable cost as to how much you want to change. And that's why I suggested to Chris Mann is like, get the red. It's $150 or it's $200 where you are or whatever it is. And for the most part, because I think he's got that same cartridge, which is the same thing I've got on my Audio Technica that's over there as well. And they're not a horrible cartridge, but it is noticeable again for $150, a couple $100. So. But anyway, I didn't mean to go on that long. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, thanks.
I'm one of those people, my ears can't tell the difference. I'm like,
exactly.
My ears are shot. I've got tinnitus. Fuck, whatever. It sounds good enough in this room. So, an audiophile, I am not.
Right? Yeah.
So we just get into it. I don't know. We got no baseball to talk about, although it is 100 days until opening day. So that's exciting.
Yes,
we still have no news on Bo Bichette. So that's it for baseball. I haven't been following hockey. So the F1 season's over.
It is. But we get Cadillac next year, which will be cool. And then we get Audi instead of the other guys, right? Because Audi's taking over. So it'll be interesting. You get Adrian.
So there we go. We've covered sports. Oh, and the Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs, so I don't have to hear any more fucking football.
Yes.
Yeah, but Seahawks are they're in the running. So
some dumbass, and I can't remember his name, and this will be the last sports thing, suggested that whoever wins the Super Bowl, that there should be an asterisk because the Chiefs are not in the playoffs.
Okay.
That you don't have to at any point go through the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, who gives a rat's ass? And I don't mind the Chiefs. They're my kids. They're my kid's favorite. She likes them. That's all good. But that is in a world of ridiculous statements. That is certainly one, right? So,
yeah, they had a good run.
Yeah,
runs end.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't even know.
With that kind of logic, you might as well have an asterisk for every Tom Brady championship. Any team that didn't play them needs an asterisk. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is, but that's just talking heads trying to make dumbasses like me talk about them. But I can't remember his name anyway, so he gets no promotion out of it anyhow. So There. Now we're done. Okay. Now
Speaking
we're
of
done.
And just
promotion.
actually, just so we're clear, because the Leafs won last night, we're definitely on the Stanley Cup track again.
That's good.
No, we're terrible.
You were
I
going to say
agree.
speaking of promotion. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of promotion, Canada Dry, if you want to throw some coin our way.
That's right. Yeah. Or because I've got the, how about just the ginger, we could go with just the ginger companies and things
Sure.
like that. Yeah.
We'll whore ourselves out to anyone. Those fuckers at
Anyone.
AG1 that sponsor every goddamn video on YouTube, send me some of that shit. I'll whore that out.
Anyone that'll take us. Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
All right. So we're talking, what did I call this? 2025 year in review highlights and a super famous guest, which is Trevor. So
Exactly.
Yeah, that one through. When I saw the picture, the thumbnail of it, I'm like, who else is going to be on here?
you, man, you're the super famous guest. You, sir, are the clickbait this evening.
That's
How
right.
does that feel?
Well, bait. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Exactly.
I feel like
So the thought was we would just kind of reflect on the year and whatever you want to show. You could show records that you bought that were a highlight for you. You could show records that came out this year that, was a highlight. You could show a t-shirt you got with a band on it that hopefully isn't Kiss. You could talk about your favorite you could talk about your favorite concert, whatever the hell you want to talk about. If it's music related and it was a highlight for you, that's what we're doing tonight. So
Perfect.
no rhyme, no reason, no order, just, whimsical chaos.
Perfect.
like it.
So Trevor's going to take us away on that note.
All right. Well, nothing to show from it. It was just an experience, and actually went near Rob's neck of the woods on our way. But yeah, the big VC get together at Mike MGK Boston / Buffalo. Bigger and better, and I don't know about better. It was just different. I can't say it was better than the first time around. But it was great just to meet up with the people I had met before and meeting new people from the VC. It's funny how, because even, within this panel here, musically, a lot of us are so completely different, but yet we can get together and talk, and it's amazing.
Yep.
I'm hoping someday, my wife could make it out with me one time, because she thinks it's just us talking music the entire time. And I'm like, yeah, that happens a lot, but a lot of it is just like, we just get to know each other, on a personal level. And, some other people brought their spouses too. And, everyone was great. I can tell you guys afterwards what's going to happen, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it to this upcoming one this year. So I have to do a video to explain why I'm not going. So, but you guys will get the sneak peek after this show. So,
All right.
Perfect.
I hated that I had to miss it because when the day that it was on I was flying to the U.S. for a trade show. It's like,
yeah,
God
we're
damn
going
it.
to Vegas.
I was going to Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do next year?
Yeah, one of these times.
Hopefully.
One of these times.
But I have every summer around that time, I have a trade show. I think it moved from Vegas, though. I think it's Atlanta next year. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Hopefully I can make it.
Somewhere hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, we have 3 summer trade shows in August. Different venues depending on the year.
Mm-hmm.
One is in Vegas, one is in Atlanta, and one is in San Antonio
So
in August.
So hotter, hottest. I guess depending on order, right? So
The only one that is good is we have this show called K-Biz. It's the kitchen and bath show because I'm in the commercial woodworking industry. We're a hardware supplier. The K-Biz show used to be in end of January in Vegas. Well, now they moved it to the first week of February in Orlando, and I am okay with that. Orlando in February? Yes, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll work.
Yes, please. We have to acknowledge Tim's highlight of the year,
Yeah.
Jacob Dylan,
Yeah.
who was a colossal asshat. Was just Tim is the nicest guy, and he has incredible patience and a knack for meeting people and politely asking for their autograph. And Dylan was just a dick. He signed, if I recall the story, he signed Tim's record, and Tim said, "Can I take a picture with you?" And Jacob said, "I'm not going to authenticate your autograph for you."
Yeah.
What a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Take a picture, dipshit. So it's funny that you should bring this up, Tim, because I was listening to Bringing Down the Horse today. And as soon as that first hi-hat on one headlight came in, that was the first thing that popped into my head. I'm like, man, he's such a dick. So Chris is saying, Adam Baldwin for me was an amazing musical experience. Thanks to me, he discovered one of my favorite singers, Adam Baldwin. So Adam's going to come up in my pile here at some point in time this evening. So.
I'm glad you corrected him because Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. That's
Right,
I couldn't
Adam
imagine.
Baldwin.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's either
Hey.
autocorrect or
There we
Tim's
go.
had a few bubbly pops. Who knows? So. All right. Joe always lets Daryl go next. So,
Yeah.
Daryl,
Go, Daryl.
what do you got?
All right, so I'm gonna bore everybody because I'm gonna do a statistical analysis for my first one here.
Oh, that sounds entertaining. I'll be right back.
I just got to open it up here.
Daryl,
So yeah, I went
Make it entertaining.
I went on my YouTube channel, and you can click on the analytics or whatever it is. So I scrolled through and just checking to see which of my videos actually had the most views this year and which ones didn't. So the one that had the most views was my contest alert video, which I did way back in, I can't remember what it was. It was the contest that I did where I jumped into the snow,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny because the contest alert was 464 views, but when I actually jumped into the snowbank, I only had 77 views. So that was
That's not fair, man.
that's kind of
just-
funny.
We just wanted you to
My
do it.
greatest hits video, that thread that I did, that actually I didn't do it as a thread, it just turned into a thread. 254 views. My unpopular opinions video, I had 200 views, in which the very first negative comment I've ever had in a comment section below, the comment went something like this: ABBA is hardly a disco group, because I talked about them being the disco era. Do they have a few songs that would be classified as disco? And disco hardly ended in 1978. This is laughable right out of the gate. That's what the guy said. And my response to it was, Wikipedia, the day disco died, July 12th, 1979. It's an actual day. So I wasn't going to get into an argument with him, but it's the first negative comment I've ever had was this year. And then, of course, the lowest watched videos are always like, this year was like the year of threads, especially the last 2 months, just thread after thread after thread. But I find that when you do, I like doing them, but my Remembrance Day tribute only had 27 views, which whatever. I'm not here to have thousands of views, but that was kind of funny. And last but not least, I think this year the video that I was actually the most proud that I did, just because of the work that I actually put into it. I don't know if you guys remember, it was the one where I showed my music themed board games, and I kind of did like a
Yeah.
thing on how to play them and stuff. It had like 45 views or something like that, but I put a lot of work into it, and I thought it was fun. And of all the videos I did, it was the most fun one I made. So there we go.
I don't know about you
This is
guys,
not-
but I find the videos that I enjoyed making the most and I put the most amount of effort into are the ones that get watched the least.
Yeah. Sometimes it works that way, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yep. And yet the ones you put the least amount of effort into take off. I had a Taylor Swift short, went to like 140,000 views, and it took me literally 45 seconds to make the bloody video. YouTube, man, who knows?
Who knows?
It's young attention spans too.
True.
Yeah.
I
Got the algorithm.
gotta give this comment a little star here. Record Hound says clicking into this show when I can is a pleasant new thing this year. Thank you. We enjoy when you join us every week, and you know what? This is me and my buddies hanging out, just chatting, and if it provides folks a little bit of entertainment, thank you. That's awesome. We're glad to see you back whenever you can. So thank you.
Exactly.
And the
Exactly.
chat is equally as important.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Richard,
yeah.
glad you enjoyed that, Richard. It was a fun video to do.
All right, Joe.
All right. I'm going to start off with not on a personal note, but on a, I don't know, a smartass note. I guess that
Not
is
you.
For me, that is personal. Remember back at a Coldplay concert this year? That was a big story, right? The guy and his illegitimate girlfriend. So, yeah. So I guess, I mean, if you look up top stories, top music stories, somehow it falls into that category only because it was at a Coldplay concert. But Coldplay probably got more traction, more notice, more talk than they have in a long time just because some dude was messing around on his wife, which you should not do. But anyway, I thought that, I don't know if it was worthy of it because I really don't give a rat's ass about any of that stuff. Again, it was really just I saw my Coldplay thing sitting there and thought, well, that was something that happened this year. And yeah, so there you go. That was the year. If it falls into the year in review, it was certainly something that happened this year. And I don't know if you guys are Coldplay fans or not. I only have this one, so I listen to it from time to time and I enjoy it, but I'm not massive fans. But like I said, they got a lot of notoriety this year for pointing the kiss cam at the wrong people or the right people or whatever way you want to put it, I suppose. So
Yeah, definitely news fodder. But the problem is that those two people, if they just didn't react,
yeah,
none of this
Right.
would have happened.
yeah, no, their spouses or his wife probably still would have found out somehow. Maybe, I guess it depends, right? But you're right. If they wouldn't have, it wouldn't have been a story at all. It would have just been two people on the camera at the concert, like any other two people on the camera at the concert. So yeah,
Right.
Well, the other thing too is if you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing, maybe just don't do it in public.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Not
Like, don't-
Coldplay's fault that you happen to be in a public spot,
Yeah, no, oh yeah, like people were blaming the band,
right?
Yeah, like
Because they knew.
sure, whatever. That's like blaming the band because people are having an affair listening to them. It's about the same thing. Anyway,
Exactly.
there you
Exactly.
go. One of the things from 2025 that we can all forget now.
So the biggest thing for me musically this year, I didn't get to experience, unfortunately, but the Oasis reunion. It's my band, right? This is the Beatles, Oasis, and Blue Rodeo. Those are the three bands that have shaped my life. And Oasis was everything to me in the 90s. It was the first band I sort of discovered on my own. I mean, like the Beatles, I had sort of learned through osmosis from my parents. This is the first one I kind of discovered on my own. And, sorry, I'm not getting emotional. I just can't friggin' talk.
Yeah.
What's the Story of Morning Glory? That album changed my life. And when they broke up in 2009, it's like, well, that's never going to happen again. And then lo and behold, it does. And they had this epic concert tour around the world. And whether you're an Oasis fan or not, and I totally understand people that think their music is shit, I don't think you can argue that they showed people what a fucking rock concert should be. Because I think we've lost a lot of that, right? There's not a lot of rock concerts anymore, right? It's all like fucking light shows and choreographed dancing and shit music, right? It's like, this is a good, honest, just five guys wearing jeans, standing on a stage, playing some rock and roll. And I think that was kind of a refreshing thing. And so I loved it for all those reasons. They put out the anniversary edition of What's the Story Morning Glory. Disappointing, to be quite honest. I mean, the bonus material on here literally is 5 songs unplugged. cool, but yeah, whatever. But it was just great to see my band back together and all the concert footage, and they're going to make a documentary about it. Maybe they'll go on and do something else. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But it was just to see those stadiums, when they're playing cigarettes and alcohol, people are doing the Poznan, and it's just like, it was just electric. And it's, you'd see parents there my age with their kids, and, just a cool thing. And I really wish that I could have gone. I missed out on a ticket by this much, but yeah, whatever. So wonderful year to be an Oasis fan. I'm going to mention Oasis again later on because they released something that was pretty cool. But that reunion tour, never thought would happen. So
part of the reason that I suggested that we do this is because of that, for you, because I know that was a massive deal for you. So that's awesome. And then I guess Liam said nothing next year, but they're not ruling out 2027 because there's World Cup next year. So I'm not sure if that means that's all they're going to be doing, or I'm not sure exactly what he meant by no next year's World Cup, but whatever it means. But hopefully 2027. I didn't get a chance. I would certainly go. I didn't get a chance to go either, but I'd certainly go again, or not go again, but I would go. So hopefully it's not the end. I mean, it all seemed like it worked out very, very well for attendees and the band and everybody, I think. Right. Yeah. So, which was good.
And I don't think it was the cash grab, right? Like the brothers genuinely looked like they had reconciled, and I think they're older and wiser and have just calmed the hell down, and it seemed genuine. So, and their kids got to meet each other because I don't think some of their kids had even met each other yet. So it was good. I hope they do some new music. It's rumored that they're going to record the James Bond theme song for the next movie, allegedly. I don't know. Cool. I'd love to see a new album. Apparently Noel has written one. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the rumor going around. So
a Bond theme would be a good primer,
right?
Yeah, or something next.
And that's interesting, right? Because the tour was heavily focused on the first 3 albums and not a lot of the later stuff. And there's a real sort of demarcation after, Be Here Now, that songwriting maybe wasn't what it was initially. So you kind of go, what would new Oasis sound like? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'd love to find out.
Well, you're preaching to a couple of guys in a choir of a band that broke up and then got back together, right? I mean, you were at that show, Trevor, in Detroit, that first one back for the band that's on your shirt, right? Like we're well aware of how that feels, and I'm so glad that you got to experience that, because it was pretty cool, especially being around. You're a little bit younger than me, Trevor, but being around the original Kiss and then going, well, this is never going to happen, and it was a lot more of a separation in time, but it was like, well, so that's good. Like I said, a big part of why I thought of let's do this was so that you'd be able to talk about that. So that's awesome. That's good.
Yep. Very cool. All right, back to you, Trevor.
Well, speaking of concerts that couldn't go to, and it wasn't a reunion, it was kind of an ender, but I want to go with what I did watch it on this very laptop I'm on right now. The Back to the Beginning in Birmingham this past summer. Black Sabbath, my favorite band of all time. Along with Ozzy, hanging it up. And some people described it as a living funeral in the best of ways, not anything morbid. But just the bands preceding Ozzy and Sabbath, they would do a song or two of their own, and then they would tribute to Sabbath or Ozzy. And, God, that thing was 7-8 hours or something like that. It was crazy long time, but they had that thing working like a machine. I mean, everyone had their time. They had the nice rotating stage so they could set up behind, rotate out. And when it got to, the end for Ozzy, I mean, some people might have seen the footage of, when he does Mama, I'm Coming Home. It took on a whole new meaning that day.
Mhm.
And I mean, they would show the crowd, not a dry eye in the place. And, now it because it got explained a little bit better, because early on, Mama, I'm Coming Home, it made it sound like it was a song for Sharon. Well, this time around, it was for Birmingham. He's coming home. And who knew? 17 days later,
Yeah.
Ozzy leaves.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
one of those things that where you can remember where you were at, what you were doing at that moment when you found out. And it didn't really hit me that hard at first. And I don't know if it's like that for you guys when like your favorite or one of your favorites, passes on. It took a long time because it was, someone that was so omnipresent in my life that it just seems weird. It's like, wait, he's gone? No.
Yeah.
It's like you know it, but you can't accept it. But it wasn't one of those like I was bawling my eyes out, not accepting it. It's just like it just didn't compute. So
It always strikes me as strange that you feel that emotional void for someone you've never met. You don't know them, but they've contributed so much to your life that there's literally a void there when they're gone. It's crazy.
Yeah. But luckily, those people being our, musical artists or maybe an actor, their work is still there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the thing too, and I mean, while we're at it, I'll butt in line here, and because I was going to do this anyway. So of course, the concert was a big thing, but then Ozzy passing just shortly afterwards as well. I don't know if we would have got new music out of him. This was fairly new, right? He was winning awards. He was still making Ozzy Osbourne music and music that people wanted to listen to as well. So, but the somewhat saving grace, and Trevor, you can attest to this, I think, is the fact that they did get that in. It went really well. He got to hang with all his buddies. Like you said, it was a living funeral. And I mean, what more can you ask for? Because they could have done all that after he had passed, but to have him there in whatever state he was in and whatever capabilities he had, which were pretty good, which was not bad at all. That was a bonus, and then not to take away from him, but then of course the other big one for me, for you, I think for a lot of people, this year was Ace as well, which was a little while later. And a lot of the same things that can be said about Ozzy, that can be said about him, how many people he influenced and how many people started in a rock and roll band and started doing all of the things because of Ozzy. I think a lot of the same things can be said about Ace. There's a lot of young kids out there that picked up a guitar.
Yeah,
they wanted to be Ace, right?
I was going to say that I think what's absolutely incredible, especially about the Ozzy one, is you look at the bands that were invited to that performance, and you look at all the bands that were discussed and the musicians that were discussed and came out and said how much Ozzy and Black Sabbath have influenced them over the years, and Ace Frehley and stuff. It's astounding to know how many of these bands were absolutely influenced by that.
It's safe to say that any band that turns their amps up past 5 were influenced by Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, right? I mean, they're whether they cite them as, very influential. There's obviously certain artists that you can have a direct correlation to, but I'm sure that you could talk to Dave Grohl, who's not a metal guy, like all of those guys, how much they were influenced by him as well. And again, Ace, his career was kind of waning at the end. He was out there doing some stuff. He was still playing. He was still out and doing what he could. One we're getting to a point now. It's unfortunate that, you know, I used to watch my parents kind of not struggle with, but be affected a little bit by one of their heroes passing, and there was a generation where we didn't necessarily have to worry about that. All of our kind of guys were around still, but now all of our kind of guys are starting to get up there into the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and that, right? So it's becoming a little more prevalent where some of the fans, some of the artists that we were big fans of are now unfortunately passing. So sorry, Daryl, I didn't mean to jump in, but
no, that's all good. You're just kind of feeding off of his choice there. I don't know. I'm going to follow that up. I don't have anybody that I guess where I'll go with this is this, you know, back in I think it was in February. I know it was in December of 2024, but then I did another few episodes where I went back in I think it was February and March. So I did not a whole pile, but I did a few videos about going into that old record station and bringing in a huge haul of music. And I mean, I would think for me that's probably from my entire collection, other than inheriting stuff from my grandfathers. I mean, that was a huge deal for me. Like, I can't say that I know too many people that have gone into an old record station and just
stolen records.
Go at it.
Yeah. Oh, did we ever land on stolen? I thought we landed on saved, didn't we? Or
so rescued.
I've landed on rescued and landed on saved. I've talked to my wife about it, and she's basically told me that because my wife works at the college that it's attached to, and they have no idea who's responsible for any of it. They're just going to toss it all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that I rescued it, and I was given permission by an elder who used to work for the radio station. So yeah, and it was just, for me, it was fascinating. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, I think I brought home close to 250 records. I think I brought home. So I'm just going to show, I think, some of the highlights that I found when I was there. I thought that they were good steals, maybe. So I got Queen's Jazz while I was there. That's a free haul. And it's in really good condition. The only thing is it's got kind of like the little bow there, but it plays fine on my turntable. I should just get a couple books and flatten it out. Blondie's,
nice.
What is that? Auto American. It's really good. This one you don't see in the wild too often at all. Even in Canada, is Guess Who's Canned Wheat. Got that one for free. Really good record there. No Time and Undone. Great song and laughing. Simon and Garfunkel's Rosemary, Sage, and Parsley. What is it? Parsley? Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. I can never get it right, but good album.
Yep.
And this one here, you know, in Canada, these things in VG condition are going for, I don't know, $30-$40. And that's Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. Nice. Once again, this is probably VG Plus or near mint. This one here, it plays perfect. No damage at all. And then I got to wait till Rob gets back to show that one, but because I know he likes it when I show that. But I also found a whole pile of picture sleeves while I was there. 45s, Bon Jovi. You know, I'm not a big 45 guy, but that was good. Paula Abdul, right? And these are in pretty good condition. So another Bon Jovi, Born to Be My Baby, and that's in the envelope looking one. What else did I get here? Cyndi Lauper, All Through the Night. Samantha Fox, a hottie. Go there. And then some Poison albums in the original sleeve. So Every Rose Has Its Thorn and Your Mama Don't Dance. So those were cool. And then I'm not ashamed to say that I own some Richard Marx because I think I have 3 or 4 of his records. But you know, I'll show this one. I know it makes Rob jealous every time. I don't know if he's got a copy of this yet, but it's the Stompin' Tom Good Old Hockey Game one. Every time I show it on here, he's like,
"No, we got him a little Stompin' Tom this summer, but we didn't. because I don't have that one either, or I would have needed 2 copies for him to have one, but because I don't have that one myself. So he's got a little more Stompin' Tom this summer, but he doesn't have that one. So
Yeah, so I think for me, like just going into the old radio station, because I worked there, just doing like I volunteered my time Friday nights, and I had a 3-hour show before they lost the tower and all that, and it's a fun place to be, fun place to go, and I just when I was given permission to go in there, I was just like, you know what, I can't turn down this opportunity. I mean, not everybody gets to do that, so that was a cool time. It was fun.
yes, for sure. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. And, I think you're preaching to the choir as far as none of us are going to begrudge you for going in there and taking
that one, Rob.
Oh yeah, right on. Nice.
How's the fight going? Is it going well for your wife or for your son?
He is now in bed. So
okay.
There we go. Apologize, I had to step away there. Sorry.
Never a problem.
All right. So does that make it my turn then?
Yep.
Okay. It's one of the highlights of this year, and I've told the story before, but I'm going to tell it again because it's the highlight of the year, I think. My close encounter with Justin Hawkins from the Darkness.
Yeah.
So, big Darkness fan, and I have been since the very beginning when Permission to Land came out. And I finally saw them in concert. They played in Kitchener, Ontario, 20 minutes down the road, in a standing room only, general admission shithole of a concert theater. And they were great, just fantastic. It was a million bloody degrees in there. You're drenched in sweat. It was everything that I hoped it would be. I get there before the show. I don't give a shit about the opener. Couldn't care less. I don't even know who the opener was. Don't care. And I hadn't been to the venue before, but I noticed like one building away from the venue, there's an alley. And I'm like, wonder if that's where the bus is. So I walked to that alley, and sure enough, there are 2 buses there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hang around. You never know. Maybe. I don't need an autograph. This is already signed. Just wanted to take a picture with Justin Hawkins. So I'm standing at the edge of the alley by the street, and the buses are like maybe 50 feet down the alley from where I'm standing. And it's like the main street of Kitchener. There's hundreds of people walking by. And I'm just standing at the corner of the alley, just killing time, not paying too much attention. And I'm sort of standing there. And there's people walking by, and this guy walks right beside me, turns and goes up the alley. And as I'm looking this way, he walks kind of in front of my field of vision. And it takes a minute for me to go, wait a second, that's Justin Hawkins. And by the time that it took like 2 seconds for me to kind of register that was him, he was by me and close to the bus. And he knew that I just did a double take. So he looks over his shoulder at me and does this high falsetto, woo, like vocal thing. Just kind of like I'm going to take a piss on this guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I laughed because I'm like, that's almost a better story than actually meeting him. He had a laugh. I had a laugh. I didn't actually meet him, but I sort of did. It was bloody funny. So I think I'm actually going to remember that more than I'm going to remember seeing the Darkness in concert. But that was a great memory.
That's a good one.
It's good.
Yeah, I remember not that it was at a concert, but walking down the street. This is early 90s. Me and my friend are walking downtown, a town called Royal Oak, and this guy passes us, and same thing. It took me a few seconds. Like, wait a second. Dee Dee Ramone walked right by us.
Who was it?
Dee Dee Ramone, the old bass player,
geez.
the original bass player. He was
Yeah.
living in Michigan at the time. So, but it was one of those things like, the moment had passed.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is, right? Like we're used to seeing them in the context of being on a stage or being on a television,
Yeah.
right? Our brain isn't used to be like, that hugely famous person just walked in front of me. Like, it takes your brain to me because it's like that's not right. Like,
Yeah.
you don't see an airplane in the water. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of a weird. At least that's my explanation for why my brain is stupid.
Well, sure, it'd be different.
I had a situation in the Winnipeg airport actually where me and my sister were sitting there waiting for a flight, and because I was shy, I didn't want to go up to the person, but I said to my sister, I look over and I'm like, fuck, that's Biff Naked sitting just like 2 seats down from me. And my sister's like, yeah. But I didn't want to get up and be like, hey, are you Biff Naked? Can I shake your hand? I 19-year-old college student or whatever it is. For some reason, I just didn't have the guts to go over and say hi, but it was definitely her and her manager. It was pretty cool.
Pretty unmistakable. I take the attitude, long as I'm not being like, an intrusive dick or whatever, be polite about it and just say, hey, hi, I'm a fan, whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I go, you know what? They're public figures. They're used to it. It's not like I'm taking 400 pictures of them without their consent, you know? So
unless it's Jacob Dylan.
Right. He can go screw himself.
I will take that album off your hands, though, Tim, if you really do not want to listen to it ever again, because.
and then Joe can put it in his will, and then I'll get it later.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Exactly.
Hopefully in about 45 years or so.
We got you one will record this year, though, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think.
All right.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. It's different if the guy is walking up to you, you're standing there in a crowd and he walks up. That's a different story. You'll know him. You'll see him coming 100 miles away. Yeah. But you're just kind of standing there going, I wonder if he's, and
the other thing too, right, is you see Justin Hawkins on stage in those outrageous glam rock outfits, and here he is, running shoes, jeans, and a leather jacket, walking down the main street of Kitchener.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Who knew?
Yeah.
So, stupid me. I should have, but I just didn't. I was too shell shocked that I was that dumb. So
next time it happens, you will not notice him.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So, okay, back to the top. It's another highlight for you, Trevor.
Back in October, the first week of October, Friday, I want to say the 3rd. I took the day off because some friends of mine were in town playing. They were on tour with legendary hardcore punk band Circle Jerks, and so got there early, hanging out with the guys. And it was the first time I actually got to really talk to them, because I was sitting with them for hours in the green room. Their drummer is someone I've known for 30 years. So, by proxy, I get to, hang out and stuff. And it was really cool to really get to know these guys on a personal level. And that, I asked a few questions of, back in the day, tell me tall tales of, the Detroit hardcore scene, and which, at the time probably consisted of 30 people. But great show. I did buy some stuff. I got tour posters are the thing now.
Yeah.
So I got this one with the very cool, the metallic.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a nice
it had
poster,
bands that were on tour, Adolescents out of LA, and then my buddies in Negative Approach, and it's the 45 years of group sex, not of actual group sex. It was the first album that they had.
Yeah.
So had that. Of course, I had to frame it. Then I'll do it. Since I'm with this company, I got a Negative Approach toque. So now I could keep my head warm and represent my buddies from Detroit.
Good.
So that was Friday night. The next night was my daughter's concert that she wanted to go to. She is a fan of this girl named Leve. Now, Leve she's probably in early mid-20s, Icelandic. Hey, Mike. Actually, there's a highlight right there. I got to meet Mike this past spring, right there. So the next night we were going to see Leve in concert. Now, I knew little to nothing about her. I actually found out about her earlier in the year. I guess she had a Record Store Day release. So early on, when the tickets were going on sale, my daughter said, "Hey, I got the pre-sale code. Buy the tickets." Now I'm thinking they're going to be playing the Paramount Theater, or she's going to be playing the Paramount Theater or the Moore Theater, a couple thousand. No, Climate Pledge Arena, that where the Kraken play, 20,000 seater. And when you're going with your kid, you kind of want to learn what you're getting into. This was the polar opposite of what I saw the night before, where screaming punk rock stuff. This young lady, her style is kind of like mid to late 40s jazz.
Wow. In an arena.
Almost
in an arena.
Yeah,
Wow.
and almost show tuney type stuff. And I'm not going to talk too much out of school, but my daughter, during the whole concert, she was very emotional the whole time, and I was just glad to be there for her. Just to, hey, if music hits you that way, or if it hits you that way, go for it, and don't be embarrassed by it at all.
No.
It should hit you in a special way. Of course, I think she got a shirt, and then she too also got a poster framed. She's not getting it until her room's cleaned. So, But the poster, it was kind of cool because I seen it, people having it, but it was like wrapped in plastic. I'm like, what's that all about? So as I'm waiting in line, which was hundreds of people, I look it up, and now I know why it looked like it was in plastic or laminated, because it is set up like a diner's menu.
Cool.
Oh, cool. That's
So,
neat, yeah.
but it's got like all the tour dates on there. So maybe it's like a silver mustard it's supposed to look like on there, but yeah, Leve.
That's great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I want to say that's an art that went away. I don't know if it ever went away, but I mean, obviously it used to be big, and then it seems like it went away, the tour poster. But as you said, that's back in a big way.
Well, that's what this wall is. I mean, the AC/DC one, especially if they had like specific posters for the date itself. I got an AC/DC one. I got this Slift one here. I got an old Rob Zombie one from a while back.
Yeah.
I got an Anthrax over here. So yeah, it's especially early on. It was like normal poster material. Now they're got it on a heavy grade paper stock, and hell, that AC/DC one was $70.
Yep. Yep.
But
no, that's cool.
I like the shine and the glitter of those posters. That's kind of neat how they've done that. Where you tilt it and it's really shiny on there. That's really nice.
I mean like this one with the
yeah, like that one there. Because I mean, you look at posters from the 80s and the 90s, definitely no shine or anything like that. These are really nicely made.
Yeah, they're definitely. Well, in fact, when I bought this, normally you roll it up with the artwork inside the roll. The lady told me to do it on the outside because they discovered, unfortunately, that this stuff, all the black flakes off if it goes the other way.
Oh no. That's not
But
good.
but yeah, this is a $40 poster. You could have bought it for 60 with it autographed.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm the type of guy that, like, if I'm gonna have something autographed, I'm gonna get the autograph myself.
Yeah.
But
I
then
think the
the
thing
thing
that's
that
funny
really-
about that too is you don't typically think like shiny and glittery with punk bands.
right. But the thing that got me though, like I said, I paid $40 for it.
Yeah.
For holiday sale, they have these for 20.
Did they? Yeah. Oh, well. But you
Oh,
got
well.
it at the show, so that counts for a little bit more. That's the extra $20. What the hell?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
real quick, so we get off this subject. My view for the concert wasn't too bad.
No,
Oh,
that'll
not bad at
probably
all.
work. Were you
Unfortunately, the sound is shit on stage, but
Looks like you were the guitar tech.
no, I'm just a hanger on,
That's
coattail
good.
rider.
Nothing wrong with that.
So-
Speaking of hanger honors, there's Alex. How you doing, my friend?
Hey,
Alex,
cheers.
Since you called us a boner, I'm going to call you a hanger honor.
So, is that a term of affection in this case, Alex, or is that a derogatory? I'm just gonna take it as a term of affection.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
Either
so.
that or he's calling us dickheads. So it could be. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, but say whatever. That's fair. That's
Sure.
fair.
That's fair. Okay, Daryl, what's another highlight for you in this past year besides stealing
Another
massive
highlight
amounts
for
of
me,
records
so-
from our-
So another highlight for me was definitely my trip that I went on my March break to
Yeah.
to Spain. And when I was in Spain, there was a couple of evenings, couple of afternoons where we got to do some shopping, and there was a group of students from another high school that we were partnered with, and these two girls, they were like, "Hey," when they were really into vinyl records. The one girl was just she was more into it than I was, and her teacher had actually arranged for her to meet up with her favorite band from Spain, and they had dinner together and all this stuff.
Whoa!
But on one of the nights, this girl and her friend and a couple other kids, they were like, "Hey, we know you like records. Do you want to come with us to go to a record store? We got 20 minutes before dinner." So they loaded it up into their phone where the store was, and we ran there. And I ended up buying a Los Bravos Black is Black 45 while I was there because I didn't have enough time to check it out. But then the next day, I got to go to another store in Barcelona, and when I was there, I got to take my time. And the manager of the store, I had asked him if there was any like famous bands from Spain that he could hook me up with, that kind of thing. And so he was playing them all. He brought up his Spotify and he was like, "Oh, this is one and this is another one. Oh, and they just repressed this one for the first time since 1978 or whatever it was." And so I ended up buying like a whole stack of records, which, coming back to Canada after spending that in euro dollars is just crazy. But there was three that I thought were actually really neat. And as a result of this, one of these bands, it's the first time where somebody actually in the VC was like, "Hey, I bought this record because you showed it on your channel." So that was kind of cool. So I'll explain that in a sec. But the first one is this band here. They're a band called Decima Victima. The only way that I can explain them is like 1980s early dark wave. That's the only thing I can think of. It's very, very dark, very monotone, and I don't typically listen to that kind of music. Think like Joy Division, I guess, but from Spain's perspective. And it's just really cool stuff if you can get into that, right? So that was one that he played me in the record shop. And I think the thing is that the guy wasn't, he wasn't being he wasn't trying to sell me on stuff that I wouldn't like. And he was really passionate about what it was. So this one here, I can't remember if it was this record here or one of the other two that I bought of this band, Los Planetas. But Morton Astad was the one that actually told me that I influenced him to buy this band. The only way I can explain it is like 90s indie, I guess you would say, with a mix of maybe alternative. So I bought 3 of their albums, of which he told me that original presses of those are extremely expensive in Spain. And so to get I think he told me that they had just repressed them and started selling them like maybe a week before I had arrived. So I ended up getting some good deals on it. And then there's this band here. This is the third and last one I'll show, but it's a band called Triana Hijos del Agoblio. I can't remember. I know that Music Talk told me what that means in English, but it's like psych mixed with prog, but mixed with flamenco music. It's the weirdest style of music, but it was really cool. But I bought it because of the artwork. I thought the artwork was the coolest, creepiest artwork I'd ever seen. Yeah. So yeah, no, just going to Spain was a highlight, but knowing that I met students from a school in Texas that were just and these are like 15, 16-year-old kids that were just super into vinyl music. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So that was a highlight for me, was my trip to Spain, but for multiple reasons. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, for sure. That would have been fantastic. So
did they know that they were shopping for records with the legend?
Yeah, that's right.
They did not. They did not.
And that you're a YouTube celebrity?
I think one of the girls actually might have clicked the sub button when I told her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Joe. I almost screwed up. The highlight.
So much like Ruth from Ozark, I don't know shit about fuck, but what I like to do is I like to watch rock documentaries. And not because I need to tell this man one to watch every week, but because I do enjoy watching them. I'm a huge sports fan, but I'm not a stats guy, so that's not, I can't tell you who batted what at any point in that. But I'd like to think I know a little bit about music, and watching the rock documentaries helps. So a couple that I watched this year. First one was Songs of Surrender from Mr. Bono. It was very Bono-like of Bono, if that makes sense. And I think that makes sense to anybody that knows him. But yep. I thought it was very well done, and I thought it was well told. The way he did it, I thought it was a very good, explanation of U2 up to a certain point. I thought it was well done. I enjoyed it. Again, if you're not a Bono fan, you're probably not going to enjoy it because it is 100% in his, if I know his style, the way that he presented it and things like that. But I thought it was very well done. So that was one that I watched this year, and there was lots, but I enjoyed that one. Another one that I watched, and I think you guys have also watched, maybe, I can't remember if you guys watched the Billy Joel one, but very good, very well done. I learned things. I learned things in all of them. There are certain things that I know. I mean, I know that Billy Joel married Christy Brinkley. I don't know a bunch of other things about Billy Joel. So there was certainly, that's good. That's awesome. I don't have one this week, but I'm working on it. So like I said, there's always something that I learned. Like I didn't know, or if I did, I'd forgotten that he actually composed a classical album, of his own, and did all that. So that was definitely one thing that I learned about Billy Joel. But early stuff, it's always fun to watch, and I like this album. This is a good album. This gets maligned a little bit, but I think that's a very good album, and I like the artwork. And then the last one that I watched this year, where did it go? I thought I had 3. Yeah, I did have 3. Oh, this is the most recent one that I watched. And I'm not positive that I was all that thrilled by it, but Jeff Buckley. I enjoyed it, and I am a fan, but I'm not as much a fan as I am of Billy Joel and U2. So I got more out of those than I got out of this. But one thing I took away from this is just how not influential he was, but how revered he was with other, like David Bowie thought he was the greatest singer ever. I think that might not be an exact quote. That might be a little bit of paraphrasing, but something along the lines of that. So it's an interesting story. It's a sad story, which, I mean, at least with these other two, they're still around, they're still, well, Billy's kind of making music, and U2, we'll see. Maybe that'll be a highlight in 2026 is that we get a new U2 album, hopefully.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. But it's good. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the others, but I think it's just because I wasn't as much of a fan. But it was interesting, and it's a good story, and it was a well-told story. So if you haven't seen this one yet, I think it's on Crave, which is HBO. I'm not positive.
Yeah, right? we just got HBO Max, which is probably your Crave. Yeah, and I watched that. Yeah, I watched that about a weekend or two ago. And same thing. I like Jeff Buckley. Never
Yeah.
got super into it. I got that album on CD. Never really got into it. I was just surprised at how much footage
Oh yeah,
was
no kidding.
available on him. Because, I mean, he was, on the scene for 5 minutes, it seemed like.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
exactly.
wasn't around
Like
long.
nothing, and then holy shit, and then and then nothing again. But
Because
not nothing, but yeah.
because I think he only got to maybe in certain markets, maybe theater size.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they played a lot though, by the sounds of it. That was, I guess, another big takeaway is they were on the road all the time. Him and his
Yeah.
band. But the presenter was good, like the folks that they talked to and that. So yeah, it was good. It was well worth it. So you know what, Chris, there you go. I don't know if I said that one. I think I probably said that one, but there's one to watch that's new. So yeah, rock documentaries. That was and there was lots of them. There was some I watched.
I think I was going to say, Joe, that I think there was one that I watched. The one you had mentioned, it was the Bruce Springsteen one, where it kind of talks about the start of his career to when Patty got sick, and then she's kind of started touring with him a little bit here and there.
Yes.
That was a really good one. I forget what it was called, but
yeah, there's tons of them. There's lots of well done. I haven't seen any that I have really just like, well, that was stupid. Why did I bother watching that? And there's some good ones I watched this year that took me a while to get to as well, like Blue Rodeo. That was well done. There were some anomalies in it, right, or something, I guess, for lack of the proper word. But
Yes.
yeah, it's always enjoyable. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, just throw a documentary on that's maybe an hour and a half, and get a little bit of knowledge, and then somehow impress your friends that you learned one thing in the last week, and you can tell them about it on Wednesday nights or something like that. So
Well said.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna do another concert experience. This is a concert I look forward to all year, and good thing Chris Mann's still watching. I went to see Blue Rodeo again. Who cares? I have seen them 55 times. That was secondary. They were on their 40th anniversary tour, and they were amazing, and they're always amazing. They are much better live than they are on the albums. Their albums are great, but live, they're phenomenal. And I got a lot out of that concert experience because they had played songs that I have not heard them play live, and I have seen them 55 times in the last 25 years. So that alone was cool. But it was nice because my wife and I went, and Kim and I have not been to a concert or dinner or anything in a long time. It's been a while. I mean, we got a kid. We don't have anyone really that can watch them. I don't have any siblings. Her sibling lives a fair distance away. Grandparents are not really an option except for her dad, who's 80 years old. The short version of the story is it's not easy to plan a night away. So we did, and it was a wonderful concert. But the highlight for me was not that it was just because I was going to see Blue Rodeo. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll love, Chris, man. I was going more to see the opener, Adam Baldwin, who I have seen many times. I've met Adam many times. He is unquestionably my favorite Canadian artist of the last decade. I rave about this guy all the time, and I've turned a few people onto him. He is a Gordon Lightfoot / Bruce Springsteen, Nebraska. That is what this album is. He has a couple rock albums that came out before this, but this album, Concertos and Serenades, is just altogether something incredible. I've not heard an album like it. It's one of the best albums I've heard in my entire life. And I've been a fan of him since he was Matt May's guitar player. And now to see him out doing his own thing was just, it was great. And again, not the first time I've seen him. I think I've seen him in concert 10 times. But I just love any chance that I do get to see him perform. And it was a wonderful. I'll show the gatefold. There's Adam right there walking down Causeway Road, which is one of the songs. Causeway Road is outside of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Just an incredible album. Great to see him live. One of the coolest things in the show, so he's the opener, and he mentioned that he calls him his big brother, Matt Mays, was in attendance. Matt is a Canadian rock musician and put out 10 albums over the last 20 some odd years. I'm a huge Matt Mays fan. Adam plays in Matt's band. Matt lives not too far away from where I live and not too far away from where this venue was, so I wasn't surprised that Matt was at the show. At the intermission, I'm downstairs because we were up in the balcony. I was downstairs talking to a friend of mine, and all of a sudden, I see this guy, and I'm like, "Holy shit, that's Matt Mays!" I've met Matt before, but I'm like, "Gotta say hi." So, tap him on the shoulder, and he stops. He turns around, I'm like, "Hey, Matt, sorry to bug you." He's like, "No problem, man." He stopped, and I must have talked to him for about 5 minutes. And I'm gonna hold on here. I'm gonna share my screen here so you can see this picture. Not that anyone gives a shit, but I'm gonna show it anyway. So
We give a shit. We do.
hold on here. Let's see. Oh well, hold on. We are going to show this right here. There you go. Look at that handsome fella, and I don't mean me. You guys see that?
Yes.
Yep. It's
There
there.
you go. So, he was just having me walking by, and no one knew who the hell he was. I talked to him for a little bit, and I was asking him, how's the new album coming along? Because there is a new album in the works, and he was telling me all about it, which was very, very cool. And took a picture with him, which he was quite gracious, and I thanked him for his time. Sorry to bother you. He goes, "I'm happy to do it. Wonderful to meet you." Went on our way. We go through the whole Blue Rodeo set. And at the end of the show, Blue Rodeo always closes their show with a song called Lost Together, and they bring the opener out. And they said, "Well, Matt Mays is here tonight. We're going to bring him out too." So Matt Mays came out, and I said to my wife, I'm like, "I'm just talking to him downstairs an hour ago." So it was just a fun night to see my favorite band with my favorite artist, with another artist that I love. And it was just a friggin' awesome night. It couldn't have been any better. 3 of my most favorite Canadian musicians together on stage. It was a wonderful night. So there you go.
Very cool.
So
Right on.
Yeah.
Chris is saying his favorite artist of the year, favorite album that he's heard in years. And Curtis is saying doing a free outdoor show here New Year's Eve. Oh, that'd be cool. I'm hoping next year Matt Mays has a farm 45 minutes from where I live, and he does concerts in his barn. And tickets are really hard to get, but I want to go to one of them next year because that would just be cool. I know where his farm is because I've been next door because as I mentioned, I'm in the woodworking industry, and there's a cabinet shop next door. And I go to this cabinet shop, and I'm like, that's Matt Mays' barn because I've seen videos from the show or whatever. So hopefully I can make it to Matt's place to one of his barn concerts next year. So,
It would be cool.
yeah.
Sure.
All right. Back to Trevor.
All right. Well, I'll bring up Mike again. That was in the chat earlier. Yeah, that was a highlight. Meeting someone who I never met before. Weirdly enough, we went to high school together.
Yeah.
But the reason why we were meeting up was I flew home to Detroit to go see AC/DC. And originally it was going to be a friend of mine who lives here. We were both going to go. He's a Scottish guy, and that is our one and that we both were on the same page with was AC/DC. So prior to even Power Trip, because I know Joe saw him there.
Yeah.
We were like, if AC/DC ever gets back together, because Power Up was out, and we're like, when the whole COVID thing finally blows over, if they ever go out on tour again, we're going to go see them. If they're not playing Seattle, we'll travel to go see them. So we, had that packed. So the closest they were playing here was Vancouver, which is not that difficult to get to. It's a 3-hour drive from where we're at, which would have been all right. Because I've never been to Vancouver. But my friend said words I've never heard anyone ever say. He's just like, you know what? I would really like to go to Detroit.
Yeah, never heard that before, eh?
I've never heard a human say that. And I mean, when he said it, I gave him like, the dog head tilt. Like, did you really say that? So, after a while, it seemed appealing. I get something out of it too. I get to go see family, friends, and then I get to show them around. And I'm like, dude, AC/DC's playing Detroit. We could go there, see the show, and I could show you around. Well, he flaked out.
No.
So I'm like, you know what? I've already had this in my mind. I was going there, and I hadn't been home in over 2 years. So I'm like, on Facebook, hey, is anyone planning on going to AC/DC that hasn't bought tickets yet? And Mike saw that. And he's like, hey, me and my brother-in-law are talking about going. Why don't we all go? Cool. Here's the money. I Venmo'd him the money. And got great tickets. We met up before the show. And it's kind of cool. It would be like, how we've all talked here, but we've never been face to face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So it was kind of like that. So, we hung out, saw the show. It was fun. It was great. And I think the next night or another night later, got together with a bunch of friends at a bar, and Mike also came along too. So just going home, which is a major highlight, seeing AC/DC, which will probably, even though they're coming back around again in the States, that show was my last time seeing them. I needn't see them again. You get the gist of it.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a highlight, concert. Because the thing is, I think I probably said this before, I am not one for stadium gigs. I don't like stadium gigs, just the enormity of it. I'm more of like a 300 to 1,000 capacity room. That's my sweet spot.
Yep.
But
With you.
to see at least 2 out of the 5 legends of that band performing for me one last time, couldn't ask for a better time.
Plus how cool was it kicking off with If You Want Blood? Like,
yeah,
that's all I needed after they played that song at Power Trip. That's everything else was gravy after that, because Brian sounded good. It was like, holy shit, I've never seen this song before, and I love this song, and they're doing it, and they're starting with it, and yeah, I was good. I honestly would have been, not really, but I would have been good if that would have been it. So that's fantastic. That's good.
I mean, set list wise, there really wasn't any surprises.
Yeah,
but yes, it was.
Trevor, where were they playing when they were there? Did they play? Did you go to Comerica? Is that where they were at?
No, it was at Ford Field.
Okay.
Where the Lions play. So it was indoor.
Yeah.
And that was my first time going to an event there. I have been in the building before, but there was no event going on. So it was surprisingly, that place is dark.
Yeah.
Even with the lights on, it's dark. So, but yeah, it was
Like
cool.
I've been to Detroit for a couple of concerts back when I was in school, when I was in Windsor at Cobo. But Cobo is a way smaller venue than that, for sure.
Yeah, Cobo is surprisingly small, because if people look at the back of Kiss Alive, where you got the 2 guys holding the sign and it's got the picture of the arena, it looks gargantuan from that picture.
It's not.
That place only held 13,000, which for an arena is on the small end.
Small.
Yeah.
So, but it was good to go back. I don't think I'm going to be heading back home for a little while, but I went back home twice this past year, so and bought lots of records each time.
That's good. All of that is good, including the buying the records. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Daryl.
Okay, so I think what I'm going to do next is, why don't I talk about VCLT, because I received some VCLT this year, which, the first one is from Joe and Rob, I guess we would say.
Yeah.
I guess maybe in this case to get me to stop being so jealous of Rob's record.
Yeah.
So I did
you up, really.
the Richard Allen's record this year from Joe and Rob. So that was good. And it plays perfect. It's really good sounding and all. So that was good. And along with that, I wasn't expecting to get a Glass Tiger 45 to go along with it, which is a clear one.
Nice.
So that's the first VCLT. But speaking of Glass Tiger, I don't know if Tim is still here, but Tim also sent me some VCLT, and I'll take this one out of the sleeve. But I already own this record, but Tim had an autographed copy of Glass Tiger's Diamond Sun. So I thank Tim for that, because he didn't have to give up his copy. I don't get a chance to go to concerts anymore, so it was always nice to get this. And so yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. But those are my two VCLT highlights. And I mean, if I'm sticking with the Glass Tiger theme, I might as well just do this. I got my Grail this year, which is the Simple Mission album by Glass Tiger, which is not easy to find. They've only pressed, I think there was only a European and a Spanish press. And so it's one of those early 90s ones where it doesn't even really have a spine on it. It's just the thinnest possible cheap material they could come up with. But yeah, no, that was a highlight for me, was the VCLT from different members in the community. I think it's always fun, and it's kind of a cool thing that we do. It's nice and neat.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Speaking of, I'm not going to wreck it because I don't know if you guys have got yours, and I think you're getting it as well. I'm not sure. So spoiler alert-ish, but our good friend Brian, Tokyo Record Style. Did you guys get anything yet? Did you get yours at all?
It's in transit, so not yet.
Transit. Yeah, you know what? I won't spoil it. I'll show the card because the card is probably different. But so it's kind of neat. I kept the card because it's cool that it came all the way airmail from Tokyo, from Brian from Tokyo Record Style. There's a few other little parts and pieces that go along with it. A personalized note as well, which is kind of cool. He took the time to, I think, write us all something specific. They're not just generic, and he signed it at the bottom. They're about us and things like that. So it's cool. And part of it for him is promotion of his channel, which is Tokyo Record Style. And I know we've talked about it before, but it is one of my favorite channels. I really enjoy watching it. Because it's cool. It's all the shops that he goes to, but the people that he talks to, and just Brian's personality as well. Like, I love all you guys, and I love talking to you guys, but the guy is he's got a little something extra, it seems like. He's just a pleasure to watch. So make sure, for those that don't already know about Tokyo Record Style, Brian, make sure you check out his channel. And he's on YouTube, and he's on Instagram, and he's on a lot of different places. So check that out. So that's part of it. And then the other part I'll do quick was a couple of concerts. I should have went to more. I have some planned for next year, which I'm looking forward to, including AC/DC for the last time, I'm fairly certain. But if they came again, I'd probably go. But I'd seen these guys before, but they were still good. Obviously, no Frank anymore, or no Dusty. But because Frank was there, actually, in this case. There was some dates he missed, but he was still there. But they were a great show. And much to Tim's chagrin, kind of, I really liked the Wallflowers because I had not seen the Wallflowers. Now, I didn't talk to Jacob Dylan. I didn't have to meet him in any way, shape, or form. So I was very impressed by the Wallflowers because I thought they sounded really good. They had a short set, unfortunately, but I really enjoyed seeing them because I hadn't seen them, and I always liked them. And then the other one that I went to this year, and it was a double shot because there was some positives. Not just because the show was really good, but Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish, again, not an artist that I thought I've ever probably would have got a chance to see. I guess I had more of a shot of it in seeing his country show than seeing Hootie and the Blowfish, although that's still a little bit of a thing. I think they do some stuff. But anyway, and this one's for you, man. It's a greatest hits. but he was very, very good. He put on a fantastic show. He did Hootie and the Blowfish. He did his country hits. He had a phenomenal band. He was very, very good. So I really, really enjoyed that. So just a couple of highlights from a couple of concerts this year. A nice Red album as well. But again, looking forward to next year. There's some shows planned already as well, and I'm looking forward to all three of the big ones that are coming up next year. So there you go, a couple of shows from this year.
All right.
You're on.
I'm going to go with a couple albums that were released on vinyl that I never thought would ever see a reissue. And I can't afford the originals because they're stupidly expensive. We'll start with this one. We've talked about these guys already tonight, but The Darkness. This is their second album, One Way Ticket to Hell and Back. Love this record. It was only pressed once on vinyl back in 2005 when it came out. And these are, $200-$300 when they do come up on eBay. And I just think that's absurd. I'm not paying that for a record. So it was cool that they reissued this for the very first time. There's the fellas there. It's on this like weird, it's going to look brown on camera, but it's a sort of weird marble hellfire kind of vinyl, I guess. So was thrilled to see that on vinyl. Never thought it would happen. And an OG of this was always one of my grails. I don't care now because I have the reissue. But Oasis finally released Familiar to Millions. All their other albums have been reissued 4, 5, 6 times, but never this one, I think, because Noel doesn't like it, apparently. But, so they reissued that this year, just kind of, I think, to capitalize on the, the success of the tour, and they were selling records like hotcakes, so they decided to reissue this. There are many variants of this. This is a trifold. This is just the Amazon version. I think it's what color is this? Black. Imagine that. They have another one where it's got like a blue cover. It was an HMV UK. Cool. I just got the cheapest one, which is the Amazon one. So now I have everything Oasis has ever put out. So never thought that would see the light of day, but I'm glad that it has. So.
Is it safe to say that you're glad that the Darkness album did not pass you by?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Devin's saying I still need to pick up Familiar to Millions. It's an excellent album. It is, but you know what? So they have two. I don't know where this was. This Wembley, I think. I think this was Wembley in the summer of 2000. This is good, but if you want a better Oasis live record, the Nebworth one is much better, I think. But that's just me. So I'm hoping that they do a live album from this reunion tour. They recorded all the shows, so hopefully. You never know.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Okay. We'll go around again. Trevor, take it away.
Couple new artists that I got into earlier this year. And if you've seen my videos, you probably already know these ones. But first one, actually, I heard of this band last year. Didn't really get into them until I saw that they were putting out their first full-length album. All-female band from Austin, Texas, called Die Spitz. The album is Something to Consume. And I've been saying this in the last 2 videos they did. They're lumped in the punk rock genre, but the only thing punk rock about them is the attitude. The music is either hard rock or post-punk, or there's a metal track. And they have 3 different vocalists on it, so it kind of goes in different directions. Very cool band. They've already played Seattle twice. I missed them both. I really wish I would have seen them their second time around because they were literally playing a bar for 2 nights.
Yeah.
And both nights were sold out. They're coming back in March playing a theater, so maybe, and it's in the middle of the week, so I'd have to take a day off to see them. But yeah, Die Spitz, and then one. If you heard this artist, you would think this would not be in my wheelhouse, but it's an artist called Runo Plum. She's just singer-songwriter, lots of acoustic guitar, barely any drums on this. Vocals also on the Die Spitz. The vocals, both of them have that kind of shoegazy production to their vocals, so lots of reverb on there. This is another one. She's going to be playing here in March, middle of the week. That one I might actually take a day off because she's playing a tiny little bar, or not bar, but a little the basement of a nightclub. Cool olive green. But I discovered her on Facebook, just as most of us do, scroll through, and it just said, "Hey Seattle, I'm playing in March," and it had a video clip, but it's muted. So I hit it to get the sound on, and I really dug it a lot. I would say her sound has a very early 90s vibe to it. So maybe like Mazzy Star would be an element there. I don't want to say she sounds like Mazzy Star, but that element is there. So highly recommend. Here, let me get the name on there. So if anyone wants to see Runo Plum, Patching is the cover, or is the so very cool stuff.
I often complain about the fact that we don't get that many concerts here, but then I also wonder just how much I would spend if I lived like where you were or in a Toronto, because I mean you could go to a show not nightly but weekly for sure, right?
I could if I didn't have to get up at 2 a.m.
That too, I suppose. Sure. Yeah. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse, I guess. Where we are, we get some, we don't get much, but I mean, I just don't think I could not go see some stuff just because it was there. And especially because I have suffered through not being able to go to my hometown and see stuff. So,
right. Also, I'd like to say, I know there's these type of people are not within our circles, but the people that I always see in comments, there is no good new music.
Yeah.
Fuck right off.
Exactly. Yeah. Amen.
It's just, okay, just because radio doesn't play anything you like, if you're complaining about it online, which means you have the internet, you can find stuff. It takes the minute little bit of effort, not even much.
Yeah.
And, just discovering new artists, it just takes a little bit of effort.
Richard saying he streamed that and he enjoyed it muchly.
That's good.
So Scott's right. It's laziness.
Yeah.
There's new music out there.
Cheers, Scott.
Good music out there. But most people just don't go. If it doesn't come up on my Spotify recommended.
Yeah. Then it's.
I was thinking about making a video about why I don't stream, because I don't stream. I've never streamed. I have good reason for that. So maybe I'll make that video. But look beyond friggin' Spotify. There's lots of places to go find music.
Like, see, now I use Apple, and I make no bones about it. I pay for a subscription, but especially on Fridays when there's the new releases, and of course I'm the token metal guy. I go on the metal part, and it has the new releases on there, all of them, and I can play an album, and I'll listen to the first couple songs. If I like it, I'll listen to the whole thing. If not, if nothing grabs me, you can move on. But there's no excuse nowadays to say, it is laziness to say that there is no good new music. That's just, I feel sorry for those people.
Scott makes a good point. Local independent radio plays new stuff, as Scott is a DJ and does
right.
that. But and you know what? not a lot of people listen to radio anymore. I don't listen to radio anymore. Guilty as charged, but I'm still glad there is independent radio that does that. So, and we're going to give Scott Station a plug.
There we go.
WMNF. That's a mouthful. 88.5 FM. There you go.
You can listen online.
He's down in Florida. If I do I have that right, Scott? You're down in Florida?
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yep, he is.
Check him out, and it streams online. So check out Scott.
And he punched Bruce Springsteen once.
And he punched Bruce Springsteen, which is awesome.
That's
We love Bruce Springsteen, but not many people could say I punched Bruce Springsteen. So.
That's a story for another time. He tells it much better than I would. So, yeah,
absolutely. Okay, Daryl.
I'm going to kind of tail off of what you were just saying, Trevor. That there's no good music apparently today. Now this record that I'm going to show, I mean, it's a few years old. I think it's 2022 or 23. But there was a student in my school, and he was karaokeing to this. Actually, they had some music playing up on stage one day, and I didn't know what it was. And then I was asking Joe. Just texting Joe about how much this record would cost and stuff. And the sound of this kind of reminds me like if you were to go back to the early 60s, just think like the Everly Brothers or whatever it is. There's a guy, his name is Steven Sanchez, and he does like that early 1960s Everly Brothers. I don't want to call it crooner music because it's not crooner music. But I mean, even the music videos, you can watch them on YouTube and stuff. And this is his album Angel Face. But I mean, he plays the persona of like a 1960s singer, and I'd never heard it. And it's amazing. Like it's funny. A lot of people will go, the youth today, they're lazy and whatever it is. And I'm not going to deny that. I mean, there are some, but I mean, there were also some when we were in school too that didn't do whatever. And the fact of the matter is that I think you can learn a lot from some of our youth, and I never would have even considering find a guy like this. But when I got students that are listening to like 1960s style music but made in the present day, right, and it is a gatefold, it's kind of a boring gatefold, but I don't know, I think it's to tail off what you were saying, I mean, you just have to find the right place and just don't listen to mainstream stuff. And I know we talked about this last week, the big hype was the two new Guns N' Roses singles, of which in my personal opinion they're crap. That's the big hype, but I mean, you ask the average person who Steven Sanchez is, they're not going to be able to tell you. But I think it's good. I mean, it's not going to be for everyone, but if you like that 1960s Everly Brothers, that type of music, Righteous Brothers, once again, you don't have to look too far, but you have to be looking. And I think that the younger generation can have some merit when it comes to music. I mean, they're the future of listening. And I mean, if it's not for them, then we're going to be stuck in the past. So that's a highlight for me, though, is finding out about this guy that I never would have been searching for unless a kid had told me about it. So there we go.
There you go. Like the jacket, very cool. Yeah. Even the jacket has that early '60s look to it.
Yeah. I think the thing for me is the back cover has that, like what you would see on some of those old crooner records with just the thing, and there's like a little blurb about each of their songs on it. I think it's neat. Yeah.
You almost expect it to smell musty too.
yeah, exactly.
Are you talking about me or the record? Okay, well, what the heck? I'll go with the new to me this year stuff as well. This is a band that's been around for quite a while, but this is the most recent from the Super Suckers. Speaking of a band that not a lot of people know about, but those that do, it's just good. They don't stray too far from what they do. But it's really good. Liquor, women, drugs, and killing. I'm not sure if that is the order that you go in. Anyway, good stuff. Sleazy Southern metally rock country something. I don't know. Eddie Spaghetti and Company, but it's really good. I picked that up a little while ago. It's been out for a bit. This young lady I talked about a lot when it first came out. I still love this album. I listened to this album. I have become a Lady Gaga fan. I am very much looking forward to seeing her next year. Joanne and I are going to Montreal, and it's going to be a great show, I think. So there you go. Mayhem. I watched a good the 10 albums that shaped me. It ended up being 15 from her, but a little bit of curveball in there. Maybe if you have a perception of Lady Gaga, maybe it changes a little bit based on the 10 albums. Actually, it's 15 that she talks about. Everybody knows Cheap Trick, but this is a very good Cheap Trick album. I'm not sure if you guys have had a chance to listen to it or not yet, or if you were Cheap Trick fans, but it's good. It's really good, actually. I like it. Interesting cover, kind of cool. You know, they all kind of represent Robbins, and then of course they've got everybody on there. But good stuff. Nielsen's son playing drums on this one now, so no Bunny, which is kind of a shame, but I don't think we're ever getting Bunny back. But at least we're getting new Cheap Trick music, and it's good, which is kind of nice. And then I've talked about this lots on here on Sundays when I'm hanging out with Man as well. But Wolfgang Van Halen, this album, this is Mammoth. This is the latest, The End. Really, really good rock and roll. If you're a, I don't know how to, if you're a rock and roll fan, it's a good album. I can't say like if you're a Van Halen fan, because that's not fair. It's not fair to pigeonhole him into that because he's Eddie's kid, because he's a very talented young man, I think, and it's a great album, and I've listened to it numerous times now, and I enjoy it. So just some of the new. I don't buy a lot of new for myself, so that's just some of them that I did buy this year, though. So
real quick, speaking of Eddie's,
that Mammoth cover always looks nice to me. Just the red with the yellow.
Yeah.
But speaking of Eddie Spaghetti, you got
oh, there you go. Awesome.
was he did an acoustic set at a bar here in because Super Suckers are originally from here, so
yeah.
I think they're in California now, but yeah, it was weird to see him like just by himself, acoustic guitar in the corner of this bar.
Yeah. Thankfully, I think he's healthy. I think he's healthy, right?
Yeah, he had a cancer scare there for a little bit, but and that's where the fans came through.
Yeah,
and helped out. This cat,
for sure. Trevor's having problems with his cat. There you go. Hey, buddy.
Well, I got the computer on a TV tray, and she's playing with a toy that's wrapped around it. Hi.
What do you got, Rob?
All right, I'm going to go also a new artist I discovered this year. This is an artist from New Zealand called Tess Leoto. And similar to Trevor, this was a Facebook ad. And the song started playing, and I immediately went, holy shit, what's that? It's right in my wheelhouse. It's that she's got a Telecaster there. It's that Telecaster rock kind of thing. It sounded like a little bit of Wallflowers, a little bit of Tom Petty, a little bit of Blue Rodeo, that kind of stuff that I really dig. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Apparently she is an American that was raised in Paris, France, and relocated to Christchurch, New Zealand.
Wow.
No idea who she was. So I reached out to Keith at Attack Down Under. You guys know Keith, who lives in New Zealand. And I said, hey, Keith, do you know who this person is? He's like, no idea. I'm going to check it out, though. And he gets back to me the next day. He goes, that was bloody fantastic. I just ordered the record. So I ordered the record off of her Bandcamp site as well. And it arrived, and it's autographed down in the corner by my finger right there. And gatefold in there. This is just something she self-released. She's an independent artist, not on a label. I don't know if she crowdfunded this or whatever, but put this out with her own money, put it for sale on the Bandcamp. So I bought it. I did an Instagram short with this playing and the song in the background, and I tagged her and it's just saying, discovered this music, and we messaged a couple times, and she's like, I can't believe my record made it from New Zealand all the way to Canada.
That's good.
But just really, really, so it's called Blue Mind, and that song is awesome. The whole thing's awesome. And then the one that immediately hooked me was a song called Sleepless in Christchurch. Just a great folk rock album, I guess, if you want to call it that. Telecaster rock album. Favorite artist that I discovered in 2025.
Try to interview her.
I
Yeah,
could do that.
you should
I could
ask
do that.
her. Why not?
That's not a bad idea, actually. I'll put that in the queue because I got one other interview scheduled in January. So, yeah. All right, let's go around one more time. We'll kind of do like a wrap it up round, and then we'll bring this thing home. So,
Oh boy. Well, let's see. Maybe this is the last round. Maybe I'll go with what I'm looking forward to, because I didn't pull anything extra. So let's see. I know in January, some friends of mine, they don't really tour. They do fly-ins. This punk ska band called the Suicide Machines, and they're gonna be here in January. So I'll be meeting up with them, which is always good to see friends from back home. You know, so I don't have to go home to see them. You know, kind of nice to have them in this territory. You know, I don't really have a lot going on, you know, channel wise. I do have a couple videos I have to do in mind. One I was going to explain in detail with you guys afterwards. But yeah, just, you know, this past year, just, you know, being on Rob's show a couple times this year was always great. I don't foresee me and Steve doing anything in the soon, but it's not out of animosity. It's just both our lives are just really busy. We actually literally talk every day, so it's not that. But yeah, I don't have a lot of shows coming up. I got a few things on pre-order coming up. Yeah, but this past year, along with the big VC meetup, it was a banner musical year. I still got to work on this room. I got this as my music room now. I don't have to share this with my wife anymore. So it's slowly but surely getting pieced together. It's not going to be as neat as Rob's room, but to use a Beatles phrase, it will be helter skelter in here. So
there you go.
But yeah, it's just 2025. Yeah, musically, it was a really great year. I didn't do a lot of shows, but the shows that I did see were top-notch quality. You know, the traveling I was able to do, be it both times going to Michigan, was great. And, you know, just continuing on what we do. You know, we buy records, we listen to records. I probably should be listening to more of the ones that I buy instead of, you know, continuously buying stuff. But yeah, it's just been a good time this year.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well done. Well done. Daryl.
Okay, well, I'll just finish this off. I have a stack of records here. So 2025, I'll just show this. I've shown this before, Harem Scarem's anthology. You know, previous to being in the VC, I didn't even know that Record Store Day was a thing. I'd never even heard of it. So the reason I'm showing this is actually the first Record Store Day purchase I ever made. It was in 2025. So, you know, Harem Scarem is I guess a Canadian rock band from the 90s and 2000s. I don't know why they call it Anthology Volume 1, because I think it's the only one that's been out. I don't think there's a Volume 2. Then back in June, many of you are aware I had a bit of a health scare, which turned into nothing. But when I was out in the hospital, I got to go shop for records, and I was in this record store in Kingston, and I walked in and I was like, oh my God, there was records everywhere, all over the floor. And so I went up to the manager, and this is Gino Vanelli's Big Dreamers Never Sleep. And it was one of the only ones, I think it was the last one I needed to finish off his discography that's actually on vinyl. And I said to the guy, I was like, do you have any Gino Vanelli? And he just points over. He's like, yeah, on the floor right over there. There's a whole stack. Like, this guy's store was so disorganized, but he knew where everything was. And it just so happened that on my trip out, I got to complete my Gino Vanelli thing, which was neat. Another cool thing is I actually had a guy design a record for my wife for her birthday this year. I never mentioned this, but my wife and I used to play this video game on the Wii all the time when Wii was a popular thing called Endless Ocean. There's a whole soundtrack to it, and I actually made this for her for her birthday. So that's pretty cool. It's all Celtic music, so neat stuff there. And then a few just to finish it off. So just some purchases that I never thought I would buy or find. So Van Halen's Balance was reissued not that long ago, and I didn't want to buy the whole big box set and all that kind of thing. And I was in a store in North Bay, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I got a couple of regular records of it, and this one's on orange vinyl." So I managed to get the one that's the limited edition, I guess, vinyl orange press. This one here, I never thought I would see ever. Found it in the wild, just once again in North Bay, just randomly as a tonic. It's Lemon Parade. One hit wonder here in Canada with If You Could Only See. But this whole album for me is I think this is a perfect album from start to finish. There's not a bad song on here. So if you like that 90s alternative stuff, really good. And then to finish it all off, because I know that Rob wants to see this because he loves this. I just bought this a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
I
no.
showed this last week.
No. My eyes.
So I got to show the Nickelback's Greatest Hits Volume 1. So,
Daryl, you know
That's
I'm
the
always on your
highlight.
side on that one. So
Nothing to say to that, Joe. It's your turn.
all right, I'm going to mix it up a little bit here because there's two rules that I like to live my VC online life by. One is if it's a gatefold, show it. The other is if you pulled it, you got to show it. So this has nothing to do with music other than they do have an album, actually, and it's that my football team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, run the Grey Cup this year. For me, that's a big deal. I've been a fan of them for a long, long time. So this is an album that three of them did way back in the day, but so that was pretty big deal for me this year. And then the other big deal as far as football goes, I do the in-stadium announcing for our local university team and for our local junior team. And although the university team fell a game short, I still got to do the Vanier Cup. And the Vanier Cup is kind of the second biggest football game in Canada, second to the Grey Cup. So I got to be the in-stadium guy for that. It wasn't my team, but it was cool that I got to do that. So that was a bit of a highlight, which again has nothing to do with music other than the album. Two things I'm looking forward to that got talked about this year, and that is the Rush reunion, which I haven't got tickets for yet, but hope to at some point. And then, of course, the Triumph reunion as well that has also been talked about. They're not playing anywhere in Saskatchewan. So far, Edmonton, and then Rush is also Edmonton. So might be a couple of trips to go see those guys. So that's something that got announced this year, but I'm looking forward to next year. My birthday is next week, Wednesday. So I'm turning the big 60. So albums that are also turning 60 years this year. Rave Up by the Yardbirds, which is a pretty good album. I like that. I like the Yardbirds, as well as a little known band called the Beatles that you guys might have heard about. Rubber Soul was out in 65. And this one, the Charlie Brown Christmas, also came out in 1965. I think it was 60 years ago last week that the show first aired on ABC or whichever one it aired on. So Charlie Brown's A Christmas Special, also turning 60 this year. And lastly, and not to end on a downer, I should have did these before and ended on a Charlie Brown Christmas, but we talked about Ozzy, we talked about Ace, but we also lost Brian Wilson this year as well from the Beach Boys. So that was a big deal. Obviously, another gentleman, very influential in different circles of music, but very, very influential, Brian Wilson. And for me, I've always been a big Supertramp fan. Nick Davies of the band Supertramp also passed away this year. And there were many others as well. So I'm not trying to slight any that I'm not mentioning. These are just guys that I listened to a lot that I thought that I would mention. So on that downer note, of course, hanging out with you guys, this is I always look forward to this, and I know, and I'm using the term too often, and my wife will give me shit for saying the same thing over and over again, preaching to the choir. This is fun. I love doing this. I love hanging out with you guys. I don't care what we're talking about. We can talk about whatever, but it's just such a wonderful couple hours. And again, the folks in the chat as well. Daryl said earlier, or Trevor said earlier, like the folks in the chat are just as important as the people on the screen. And a lot of the times, the people in the chat have been people on the screen and things like that. So it really, really is awesome to hang out and talk about and learn. You guys have cost me lots of money in the last little while, but I think we've all cost each other some money along the way with our suggestions and things that we have listened to. So thank you, everyone, for being here on Wednesday nights. Thank you guys for being you guys. And so there you go. Let's just keep doing this. And this will be a highlight, a weekly highlight, not just a yearly highlight. So there you go.
Sure.
All right. I just got one more to show. A box set, if you want to call it that. And I think probably one of the best box sets that I own, Springsteen, Nebraska. The album that made me go, holy shit, I need to listen to Bruce Springsteen. One of those albums I always remember where I was the first time I heard it. And so they came out with this, which is so incredibly well done. It's like a book with a bunch of records in it, and the book part is actually in the middle. There is outtakes. There's Electric Nebraska. There's a remastered version of the album. There's a live version of him playing it. It's everything that I would want a super deluxe edition to be of one of the most influential albums in my life. So I was just thrilled that came out this year. A couple other, I guess, musical things. I have not made a lot of videos since the summer, like a handful. Admittedly, I am still experiencing YouTube burnout. I enjoy doing this live stream immensely. To what Joe said, it's hanging out with my buddies. In terms of making videos, it's not that I don't enjoy making videos. I do. I'm just out of ideas, and I have been out of ideas now for several months. I have 900 records, and I've made 400 videos.
Yeah.
So, there's only so many times you can show a record, but there's a few things I need to do. I need to jump on Sam's anniversary contest, absolutely, the vinyl tag, that kind of stuff. So I will get back to making probably not weekly, probably bi-weekly videos, probably in the new year. But one of the highlights for me this last year was I did a very enjoyable interview with Glenn Milcham, the drummer from Blue Rodeo. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I would much rather talk to someone about music than hold up a record and go, hey, this is a record. So I hope to do more of that in the new year. I have an interview scheduled in January with my friend Kendall Carson, who's a Canadian musician that, this is her here. She plays with Alan Doyle. That's her right there. I've known her for 15 years. Well, you may not know who she is, and you won't know who she is. She has played on hundreds of records and shared the stage with. She has played with Elvis Costello. She has played with John Prine. She's played with Bryan Adams. She was in Shania Twain's band. She's done a lot of stuff. And when I asked her if she wanted to sit down and have a chat, she says, absolutely. She's excited to do it. I'm excited to do it because she's got some pretty incredible stories to tell. I'm very much looking forward to that. And I'm hoping I can do some more of those in 2025 because they're a lot of fun. So,
and she's been a mermaid.
And she's been a mermaid. That's correct.
Yeah,
That's great.
I wasn't going to bring up Bruce, but he had a hell of a year this year.
He
that
did.
and that and the Lost Tapes and the movie and stuff. So yeah, good on you.
Absolutely. I still have to see the movie.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why we both talk about him so much, but it's just been busy. But yeah,
exactly.
It's just for lack of time. But yeah,
exactly. Well, there we go, guys. Trevor, thank you for joining us, man. Always a pleasure hanging out with you.
Thank you for the invite. Always appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, we'll have you on more. I know often it's, the time doesn't necessarily work for you because you got to get up super early in the morning. So,
Well, I mean, this is usually around my bedtime, like when we end. But I know you've asked me a few times, and I was just like, my work schedule is just, I'm working late. I'm always working late. Well, things have kind of curtailed, so it's been easier
Okay.
lately. So,
well, we'll do this more often then. We love
Yeah.
having you on. So,
well, thank you.
To everyone watching, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a very Merry Christmas, a happy holiday. Hope you have a wonderful time with your family. I think you'll see Daryl and Joe and I sometime over the holiday break. Obviously, we're not doing something next Wednesday because that's Christmas Eve. But I think, the three of us talk every day. So I think we'll probably have some kind of impromptu something that we'll do over the course of the holidays. You'll probably see us pop up and do something. So
If all of our wives go to bed early enough on New Year's Eve, which is a very good possibility in my
oh,
house,
100% of my house.
maybe we'll just do New Year's Eve live here with whoever
Sure.
wants
Yeah.
to join on. Maybe
That's
what-
probably a good idea. You know what? That is what we're doing.
something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
That works for me. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Thanks for watching. For those that are going to watch this later, thanks for hanging out with us. We will be back most likely on New Year's, and then, in January, we'll be back on our usual Wednesday slot. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a Merry Christmas, and stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Take care.